Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is April 21st. We've got some power rankings to go over, and some teams are getting hot. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? We are here, another episode. Going to try to make this one a quicker episode. I've got quite the busy schedule this week. So with that being said, we're going to kind of jump through everything, short stuff, some fun stuff still, so still stay tuned for that. But that being said, let's jump into our series recap. Leading us off, we have the Reds and the Orioles. And the Reds with Ellie, Candelario, and McLean with all home runs. 8-3 Cincy. Baltimore gets their get back though. Cedric, Gunnar, Westberg, and Ramon Laureano. 2-homer day for him. 5 Baltimore home runs. 9-5. The O's take that one. And that last game, yeesh. 7 of 9 innings, the Reds score runs. They scored 7 in the third inning. How about 24 runs on 25 hits? Noelvi Marte, 5 for 7, 7 RBIs, and a grand slam. Austin wins 6 for 7, 6 RBIs, a home run for him. Ellie, another home run. Reds slaughter the O's 24-2. Mariners and Blue Jays. The Blue Jays take the first game 3-1, but the Mariners get the next two. 8-4 in the second game. They went to the 12th inning. Ben Williamson hits his first career home run, and the Mariners score 5 in the 12th thanks to a Rowdy Tellez grand slam. And in that last game, the big dumper goes deep at the Rogers Center once again. There was the scrum in the game before too, so I think that had to play a part in it. And how about Rowdy Tellez homering in all 3 games of the series? 8-3 Seattle. They take 2 of 3 from the Jays. Yankees and Rays play a 4-game set at Steinbrenner. The Yankees scored 5 unanswered to get a comeback win, but Jazz was also ejected. We'll be talking about that more later. 6-3 Yankees. They win the next game 1-0 as well. That third game was very interesting. Simpson gets his first MLB hit and RBI in the 9th, which sparked a 4-run 9th to send the game to extras, where it's Jonathan Aranda who hits the walk-off home run to win it for Tampa Bay. They score 6 in the last 2 innings. 10-8 Rays with the comeback. But then Game 4, Grisham, Bellinger, and Wells all homer. Yankees 4-0. They take 3 of 4 from the Rays. White Sox and Red Sox. The Red Sox and Trevor Story, 2 home runs in the game. Cedane Rafaela, Carlos Nevarez, both hitting their first home runs on the year. 10-3 Boston. In the second game, they went to the 10th inning where Tristan Casas would hit the walk-off single in the 10th to win it 4-3. And the White Sox come back in the last game. They score 6 in the last 2 innings to get the win. Andrew Vaughn homers in that one as well. 8-4 White Sox, but the Red Sox take 2 of 3. Royals and Tigers for the first 4-game series, Tigers in complete control. A 6-1 win, a 7-3 win, a 3-1 win. I mean, hey, Torkelson hit a 3-run home run. Freddie Fermin hit a solo shot. Who wins that game? Duh. The last game, though, would go Kansas City's way. They make it into extras in the 10th inning. Bobby Witt, a sac fly. Tigers can't score, but the Tigers do take 3 of 4 from the Royals. Dodgers and Rangers. DeGrom versus Yamamoto. Masterclass pitching from these guys. And as per usual and on par, DeGrom with no run support. Didn't have it when he was great with the Mets. Isn't having it right now. Dodgers 3-0 win over DeGrom and the Rangers. They come back though. The Rangers down by 1 in the 9th in Game 2. Adolis Garcia hits a 2-run walk-off home run. The Rangers get that game. And in the rubber match, the Dodgers take a 1-0 victory and take 2 of 3 from Texas. The Giants and the Angels. The Angels coming into this series after getting swept by the Rangers. They win 2-0 in the first game. And then it's classic LA as Trout gets 2 home runs in this game. Mike Trout, one of the best, 2 homers, and they still lose. Giants 3-2, they even up the series. But in the last game, this is where the Angels are different. Neto and Huff hit their first home runs of the season. The Angels scored 4 runs in the 9th to win it in walk-off fashion as Joe Adele gets a bases-clearing 3-run double. How about that for your Halos? Angels take 2 of 3 from the Giants' 5-4 win there. Padres and Astros. The Astros on the backs of Cam Smith with a 2-homer day from the rookie. 6-4 Astros win that first game. In Game 2, Tatis hits a home run, but it's Walker who hits a 2-run home run to help the Astros get a comeback win, 3-2 Houston. In the last game, it's tied at 2. We're in the 7th. Fernando Tatis Jr. once again hits a go-ahead home run. That's the difference in this one for Sunday Night Baseball. 3-2 Padres, but Astros take 2 of 3 from one of the best teams in baseball. Twins and Braves, and it's a series that the Braves needed to have. The Braves come back from down 4. It was 4-0. They win it 6-4. The Braves then come back again in Game 2 with 2 runs in the 6th on a Michael Harris home run and a Verdugo double, already adding value to this Braves team. 4-3 win there. And then Matt Olson, Drake Baldwin, and Marcelo Zuna all homer. 6-2 Braves. The Braves get a much-needed sweep to help them start crawling back into things here. You got the Marlins and the Phillies now. 7-2 Phillies in this first game. Harper and Schwarber both hit home runs. Then 11-10 Phillies. The Phillies led by 7 entering the 9th inning. And the Marlins then teed off on Jordan Romano, who just doesn't look right with the Phillies. They scored 6 runs off of him and made it a 1-run game. Very dicey. Philly fans not happy there. And in the last game, in the 10th inning, the Marlins come back thanks to Javier Senhoa, who hit his first career MLB home run. That one goes to extras, and the Marlins take it in the 10th. They score 2 runs, 7-5 Marlins to avoid the sweep. The Phillies, though, take 2 of 3. The Cardinals and the Mets. Don't let the Mets get hot. Mark Vientos hits his first home run of the season. That's part of a 4-1 Mets win. Vientos then gets another home run in the second game. Tied up in the 9th inning, it's Francisco Lindor who hits a walk-off home run. The Mets win it 5-4. Game 3 is all about Alonso. He hits a solo home run. He had 2 RBIs in the game, a part of a 3-0 Mets win. And in the last game, Lindor, a leadoff home run. So Lindor hits a home run to start a game. He hits a home run to end the game in the series. 7-4 Mets. The Mets get a crucially crazy 4-game sweep over the Cardinals. That helps them out big time. And the Cardinals, yikes. Guardians and Pirates. 10-7 Guardians in the first game. The Pirates hit 3 home runs in it, but a 5-run 7th for the Guardians gets them the win. That's the difference there. Then on Paul Skeens' bobblehead night, Paul Skeens on the mound. Kyle Manzardo says it's my night, and he hits a home run off of Skeens out of the stadium, out of PNC Park. 3-0 Guardians in Game 2. And in that last game, Kwan and Manzardo both hit home runs. The Pirates, though, have some fight. They scored 2 in the 9th, 2 in the 9th for them to get them into extras. But in the 10th, Manzardo, a sac fly. He was a big part in the series. 5-4 Guardians. They sweep the Pirates. A's and Brewers. The Brewers tee off 5-3 in the first game. Rooker and Langoliers hit home runs in the second game. 3-1 A's to even up the series. And in the last game, the Brewers scored 4 in the first. They score 5 in the 7th, and only with 1 home run. Rhys Hoskins, a solo shot. 14-1 Brewers. All things Milwaukee there. They take 2 of 3 from the A's. D-backs and Cubs. This first game, the first game of the weekend, 13-11. And I'm not even going to bother explaining this game here. Cubs win that. Corbin Carroll, leadoff home run, starts the second game, which off of the first game, it shows how crazy it's been. Suzuki and Bush both homer in the game for the Cubs, who scored 6 runs in the first 2 innings to a 6-2 Cubs win. They look for the sweep in the last game in Game 3, but the D-backs in the 11th inning, Josh Naylor RBI single puts them up, and they hold it. The D-backs avoid the sweep, take a 3-2 win against the Cubs. And that leaves us lastly with the Nationals and the Rockies. We had snow to postpone on Friday, which meant a doubleheader on Sunday. On the first game of the series, it's 12-11 Washington, Dylan Cruz, 2-homer day. Josh Bell a home run. James Wood a home run. And the Rockies somehow almost won this game. They scored 8 runs in the 7th to bring them within 1, similar to how the Marlins almost came back against the Phillies, getting 6 runs off of Romano in the 9th. The Nationals come back in Game 2. It was a good day for the Rockies, though. Zach Veen and Braxton Fulford both getting their first career home runs. Fulford, his first career hit. But the Nationals still take a 3-2 victory. And in the final day, or I guess on Sunday, so the doubleheader, the Rockies debut their City Connect, the new City Connect pullovers. Mickey Moniak, a 2-run triple. That would help out the Rockies be the difference in this game. 3-1 Rockies. They avoid the sweep. And that is your series recap. Alrighty, now let's get to the game of the weekend. And I'm taking you to Chicago for this game that was oh so crazy. Might be the game of the year at this rate. Cubs and D-backs. Let's get things going in the bottom of the second. Carson Kelly, how about a season he's had so far? Hits his 5th home run of the season already. A 2-run shot put the Cubs up. Then to the top of the 5th, Corbin Carroll, an RBI single for him. D-backs on the board. 2-1 Chicago still. Bottom of the 7th. This is where things get crazy. Take in, remember, in the series recap, I said 13-11. It's 2-1 in the 7th inning right now. That should tell you something. Ian Happ hits a grand slam, his 2nd home run of the season. 6-1. So I say second grand slam, 2nd home run of the season. 6-1 Cubs, though, the Ian Happ grand slam. And then Michael Busch, an RBI single in the inning as well. Cubs score 5 in the inning, and it's 7-1. Enter the top of the 8th. Eugenio Suarez hits a grand slam of his own, his 6th home run of the season, 7-5. And just like that, Arizona's back in it. But not only are they back in it, because it doesn't stop there. Geraldo Perdomo, an RBI single. Randall Grichuk, a 2-run double, puts the D-backs up by 1. And then Lourdes Gurriel Jr., a 3-run home run, his 4th of the year. And from 7-1, it is now 11-7. We head to the bottom of the 8th, where Carson Kelly hits his 2nd home run of the game. It's a 3-run home run, and the Cubs are within 1. And then a 2-run home run for Kyle Tucker. They take the lead, his 6th home run. And if that wasn't worrisome enough, that wasn't enough, and I mean in this game, it really wasn't, he goes back-to-back with Seiya Suzuki, who makes it 13-11, his 5th home run of the season. That is your game. Plenty of home runs and plenty of runs all in the last 2 innings. The first 6 innings, you saw 3 total runs. In the last 2 innings, 7 and 8 really, because the 9th inning was just the D-backs and they didn't score. So just in those 2 innings, they scored a combined 21 runs between the 2 of them. A crazy game, insatiable game. Definitely check out the highlights if you have not seen it. That is without a doubt the game of the weekend. So let's get into some of the baseball news here. Power rankings. This is something that I have never done myself, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of get my opinion on some of the teams, the way they've been playing. Who knows? I might make this a bi-weekly thing. Every second Monday I might update my power rankings. I'm only doing the top 10 today, and maybe I will always be doing the top 10 just going forward here. If I do bring this back, let me know in the comments if you want to see a power ranking section. So I've been going over some standings, going over a couple things, and I have my power rankings here. I'm going to name it off, maybe explain a couple of them, and move on. So, number 1, I think the best team in baseball right now, power rankings, is the San Diego Padres. They've had good pitching. Some of their players have been playing elite ball. I know they just dropped a series to the Astros, but that's on the road, and they're still the best team in baseball as a whole. So without a doubt, Padres number 1. Dodgers coming at number 2. Ohtani just had a kid, so I'm worried what dad strength will do to him. But they have plenty of pitching. They got plenty of offense. We know that fifth spot in the rotation's been kind of a question mark right now, but Dodgers will certainly be able to figure it out, and they play great baseball. So for that, they're 2. And for 3, I'm keeping it with the NL West, of course, the Giants. We know how good the NL West has been, but how about these Giants? I mean, they have been phenomenal, and it's not even like they fully clicked yet. Like Adames hasn't, really contributed to the level that we were expecting. And I feel like Logan Webb, he had a great start over the weekend. I feel like he has still a higher ceiling. So I think the Giants are right now still locked in to go. It could go sideways, but right now I think they are definitely deserving of that 3rd spot. Then we're going to New York. The Mets and the Yankees, both hot, I would say. Mets 15-7. They're on a 4-game winning streak. The Yankees 14-8. Took 3 or 4 from the Rays. And I mean, they're both just, I think they're the best teams. Record-wise, it definitely shows it. But, I mean, just in general, Padres, Dodgers, Giants, D-backs, those 4 teams from the NL West, insert these 2 New York teams in that, and that's your top 6 teams in baseball right now. So definitely deserving of those spots there. And speaking of that top 6, if I'm going to say the Mets and the Yankees at 4 and 5, then 6 obviously must be the Diamondbacks, who, definitely had a slip up in Chicago, but I think playing in Wrigley in April is always kind of tricky for visitors. So I'd still give the benefit of the doubt for the Diamondbacks, who are still 7-3 in their last 10. They entered into Wrigley on a 5-game winning streak, lost those first 2 games, but was able to get a win to avoid the sweep. They're still 13-9, still a great team, plenty of talent, plenty of pitching, and should have no issues bouncing back. Which brings us to the next 4 here. So the Phillies is who I have as the 7th best team. They're one of the few teams that are 13-9. You're seeing great things from a lot of the players, a lot of the pitchers. I think I kind of want to just spend a day at some point, maybe next week, diving into Romano and figuring out what's wrong with his stuff. Obviously, battling back from injuries, barely pitched last year. But he is an all-star. He has been a great closer for the Blue Jays before. And I know with Phillies, he's lost his role, but he really looks lost on the mound. Even if he's not going to be that elite guy anymore, he still should be a solid option in the back end of the bullpen. He's been really struggling, but despite that, Alvarado's still been great. Oren Kerkering has been solid as well. The the Phillies still have great pitching. And for that, they're 7th. Moving on to the 8th, I'm going to say the Detroit Tigers, who, again, kind of like the Giants, I feel like there's another level to the Tigers still. So the fact that they're 13-9, I mean, there is better days ahead. I think Tarek Skubal still is kind of getting into the season. I feel like we haven't seen his best baseball. And AJ Hinch still trying to kind of figure out ways to utilize that bullpen to the best of their capabilities. I mean, there's just all sorts of expectations for the Tigers, I think. And I think that, they're off to a good start. I think there's much better ahead, and they're going to keep rolling. So for me, they're 8th right now. Then we have 9th, which I have as the Texas Rangers. Some of the pitching I think is not concerning because I feel like it's been solid. Eovaldi, DeGrom, Tyler Mahle has been phenomenal at the start of the season. I might have to pick him up my fantasy team. He's been doing a really solid job. And then the 2 kids in Leiter and Kumar Rocker. And I think the offense is going to slowly start getting it. They're still the best team right now in the AL West, of course, coming off of that sweep of the Angels. Obviously, they had a tough season against the Dodgers, but who won't have a tough series against the Dodgers? So Rangers still doing a really good job early on in the season here. They're 9th. And then for 10th, maybe that extra 2 games in Tokyo have helped, but the Cubs, I think, are rolling still. They're 14-10. I think they got off to a shaky start with, that Tokyo series against the Dodgers and just kind of coming into the season kind of an edge behind. But Kyle Tucker's been a key piece. He's got 6 home runs already. Carson Kelly, the depth has been producing. The pitching, even without Steele now, there are concerns I think the Cubs have, but they have one of the best run differentials at plus 41. In fact, I think because of that game and because of how they've been playing, they do have the best run differential at plus 41. So the offense has been killing it, and the pitcher's been holding it down as well. So for those reasons, I will take the Cubs at 10th. That is what the power rankings are for me, my top 10. So once again, going over it, Padres, Dodgers, Giants, Mets, Yankees, D-backs, Phillies, Tigers, Rangers, and then the Cubs round out the top 10. So again, if you like the power rankings, if you want to see this return every Monday, every second Monday, do I do all 30? Do I do a top 10? Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you're on YouTube. Yeah, helps me out a ton. So let's continue on here and get into some of the nitty gritty of the Jazz Chisholm situation, because I found it to be very interesting. So on Thursday, Jazz got ejected for arguing a ball or strike. Obviously, you can't do that. Umpires don't like it. They eject you. That makes sense. It was definitely a ball. That was called a strike. It struck Jazz out. It was an RBI chance. I could see where the frustration came from Jazz's perspective. Once he was in the clubhouse, I think it was within, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a pretty quick turnaround from ejection to tweet. He went on Twitter and fired off a nice little tweet saying, "Not even effing close." Did actually use the full word. I will not be saying it. But, I could, but I don't, who knows. Anyways, not even effing close, is what Jazz said in regards to the situation. And then on Friday, he received a game suspension for his ejection. He did appeal it, so I'm not sure. I think we're still waiting on that to see what the outcome is of that situation. But here's my thought, because I from going back from the ejection, I don't think Jazz did anything that was nothing we've seen before, as in like for an ejection for calling balls and strikes. We've seen players lose their minds arguing a ball or a strike. So I don't think that was what the situation was. I don't remember him bumping into the umpire. I don't think he, he didn't do anything to the umpire. He was just yelling, pleading his case, and, left. But I think the game suspension comes from his tweet, kind of like degrading the umpire essentially by, calling him out for saying it's not even close to the plate and obviously his ball. It's an interesting situation. Obviously, social media over the years, like back then, this is nothing. It's an ejection, a fine, and move on. But because of social media, because you have some players who are more vocalized and will speak their minds, on social media, most commonly Twitter, you have Jazz out here who's obviously upset at an umpire. So MLB hands him a suspension. That's my understanding of the situation, because like I said, if you watch through the ejection, I've seen worse, for players who argue balls and strikes. I've seen players lose their heads, throw gloves, throw whatever, bats, balls, etc., and not get suspensions. This time, Jazz did. And the only thing that kind of separates those is his tweet. So I haven't seen anything about how his appeal went, if it is done. I could see it being appealed and being taken away to just a fine, but MLB just might want to do it, kind of just keep Jazz in a box a little bit by doing that. That won't work, obviously. Jazz is a personality. I love Jazz and for the game of baseball, but we'll see what happens with that appeal there. He might miss a game sometime this week if this position holds, or he will not have to serve one. So we'll see that, but that is the situation there with him. And last thing I want to mention in terms of news here, the Rays have called up their seventh best prospect, Chandler Simpson. I mentioned in the series recap that he got his first major league hit, was able to stretch it into a double. It was an RBI double, so he got his first hit, extra base hit, and RBI all in the same at bat in the ninth inning in Game 3 of the series here. And of course, that was the start of a spark plug for the Rays, who then scored 4 runs in that inning. Obviously, the first one being that Simpson RBI. They tied the game up in the ninth after those 4 runs, brought it into extras, and then Jonathan Aranda hits the 2-run walk-off home run. So thanks to Chandler Simpson, who just got called up, is already making an impact. But most importantly, this guy's got speed for days. And I say this because chances are, if you like baseball, if you're on social media and you have like baseball in your feed, you've seen this kid pop up in some sense, whether it was in high school or just in AAA, whatever. He is fast. He will turn singles into triples and doubles into inside the park home runs. He is that fast. Last year, he played 110 games in the minors. He stole 104 bases. So basically, the MO with this guy is he will get on, he will steal. So I'm excited to see this guy for Tampa Bay. Excited to see him just kind of running around the base paths. I don't remember the last time I've seen this player, a player like this that is this fast. It's kind of giving Billy Hamilton vibes, early 2010s Billy Hamilton with the Reds. So hopefully it's like that. Hopefully he's able to just kind of steal a bunch of bags. If he can steal 100 bags this year, that would be crazy. So hopefully he gets to stay up and have some fun here and be a major leaguer and hopefully help out the Rays in the process. So excited to see Chandler Simpson and what he can bring to the party. So let's move into our hot and colds here. Start firing through these now. For the hots and colds, more importantly the hots, Cal Raleigh, 7 for 27, a double, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, 5 runs, 4 walks, a 1.096 OPS. Fernando Tatis Jr., 9 for 24, a triple, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, 9 runs, 5 walks, 1.441 OPS. Tatis, the hottest player, forgot to put him first. And then how about a bunch of the Reds here? Obviously, when you score 24 runs in an absolute schmacking against Baltimore, you're going to have some Reds here. Gavin Lux, 11 for 18. He had a 6.11 average. How about that? A double, 4 RBIs, 7 runs, 5 walks, a 1.363 OPS. Jake Fraley, 7 for 17, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, 6 runs, 5 walks, a 1.427 OPS. And then Austin Hayes, 12 for 28, a double, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, 7 runs, 2 walks, a 1.253 OPS. I think this was his first weekend in Camden Yards as a visitor against his former team. And he was a part of the Reds smacking. So 3 Reds, and then Tatis and Raleigh are hot. On the cold side, we got Jordan Walker, who was 3 for 24 with 10 strikeouts. Dansby Swanson, 4 for 27 with 14 strikeouts. Definitely struggled this week. Ty France, 1 for 20 with 6 Ks. Wilmer Flores, 2 for 24 with 7 Ks, and then Adley Rutschman, 2 for 23 with 7 Ks. So definitely some struggling players. Hopefully are able to turn it around this week. Moving on now, we have our injury updates. And we've got a scary situation yesterday in Houston. Luis Arias was carted off the field after a collision at first base. This is the beginning of Sunday Night Baseball. He ran into Mauricio Dubon and had to get carted off. He kind of he got hit, fell over, and kind of went to bed ASAP. He looked like he rolled over for bed. It was a little scary situation. Hopefully he's okay. I know they took him to a hospital. We're still waiting on news going forward, but I assume he's going to be on the IL for a little bit. Blake Trinan, 15-day IL, forearm tightness. AJ Puck, 15-day IL, elbow inflammation. Brandon Marsh on a 10-day IL with a strained hamstring. And then Ezekiel Tovar on a 10-day IL with hip contusion. So 4 guys landing on the IL, and scary situation yesterday in Houston. So hopefully the best there. Moving on now, we have our outstanding performances. Griffin Canning. Always forget he's on the Mets now. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and 8 Ks. Carlos Rodon, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 4 walks, and 9 Ks. Zach Wheeler was dominant. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, and 13 strikeouts. Andrew Abbott, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 11 strikeouts against Baltimore. Jacob deGrom, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, a walk, and 7 Ks. He matched up with Yamamoto, who was also 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 10 strikeouts. He was dominant. Tyler Anderson, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 6 Ks. Logan Webb, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 12 Ks. Casey Mize, He's been good. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 3 Ks. Luis Severino, 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 1 K. His first win as an A. Max Fried, 7 2/3 innings pitched. He took a no-hitter into the 7th, technically the 6 2/3. It got rechanged. But yeah, 7 2/3 for Fried, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 2 Ks. He was great. Tyler Mahle has been dominant at the start of the season. I told you, I got to pick him up in my fantasy team. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 4 Ks. And then Justin Verlander, his best start as a Giant so far. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and 6 Ks. How about that for JV? Turning back the clock a little bit. Let's get into our standings check here. Talk about the teams. In the American League East, the Yankees are the team that lead. They're 14-8. They're 7-3 in their last 10 and are chilling. Blue Jays 2 games back after losing 2 to Seattle. They're 12-10 and in second. Baltimore, the other team above 500, they're 12-11. 1 extra loss in the Jays. Baltimore in fourth, 9-12, and then Rays 9-13. They're 5 games back. In the Central, the Tigers are hot. They're 13-9, but only half a game up on the Guardians, who are 12-9. They swept the Pirates and are 7-3 in their last 10. And then further down the lineup, you got the rest of the Central. Royals have really struggled early here. They're 9-14, 2-8 in their last 10, 4.5 back. Minnesota Twins 7-15. They just got swept by the Braves, and then White Sox 5-16. So really right now, unless the Royals can kind of turn things around, it's looking like a Tigers-Guardians battle for the Central. The West, 13-9 Rangers, they lead. Only a game up on the Mariners, who are 8-2 in their last 10 and 12-2 on the season. Angels are down to third now, 11-10 on the season. Astros 10-11. Athletics 10-11. So they're all pretty close right there. Separated by 3 games. The Rangers and the A's are for first and last. So a good battle there in the AL West thus far. The Mets, after a 4-game sweep of the Cardinals, they're 15-7, 2 games up on the Phillies, who are 13-9, and then you got some separation. The Marlins under 500 now, 9-12, Nationals 9-13, and the Braves, after sweeping the Twins, are 8-13, still last, but only by a game. They would be up to third, so they're only a game back of the Marlins for third. So the Braves got to slowly get into the mix here. I think they're getting their form now, 6-4 in their last 10. In the NL Central, the Cubs still have the advantage. They're 14-10, a game up on the Brewers, who are 12-10. So those 2 extra games played for them, extra wins there. Reds sitting at 500. They've been playing a nice brand of baseball this week. They're at 11-11. Cardinals 9-13, losing 4 to the Mets definitely don't help them. And the Pirates, they got swept as well, so they're 8-15. They had a chance to be ahead of the Cardinals, but they needed to win some against the Guardians. Could not do it. That is your NL Central. And then for your NL West, the NL dominant division, Padres 16-6, half a game up on the Dodgers, who are 16-7. Giants are 14-8, and Diamondbacks 13-9. So those 4 teams there, separated by 3 games. And the Rockies, way down at the bottom, 4-17, still the worst team in baseball, already 11.5 back. Just for reference there, they're 2-8 in the last 10. If we go off of reverse order here, for last place to first place, the A's are 3 games back. The Tampa Bay Rays are 5 games back. The Pirates are 5.5 back. The Braves are 6.5 back. White Sox are 7.5 back. And the Rockies 11.5. That is a crazy difference already. That is your standings check. And that brings us to our upcoming series for the week coming up here. The Mariners are in Boston to take on the Red Sox. Yankees in Cleveland taking on the Guardians. Padres at Tigers. Should be fun one there. Rockies at Royals. Good chance for the Royals to kind of get hot. White Sox at Twins for a battle of fourth. Blue Jays at Astros. Pirates at Angels. Rangers at A's. So a good chance for the A's to kind of continue to shorten up that AL West gap. Orioles at Nationals. Phillies at Mets, battle for the NL East lead. That's a series to watch. Reds at Marlins, so good chance for the Reds to keep up their offensive hitting ways and stay hot. Cardinals at Braves, a team that got a 4-game swept, and the Braves who did a 3-game sweeping, so could be interesting there. Dodgers at Cubs for what feels like the 20th time this season already, but I think it's just I think it should be the final time these two teams match up. I think they've met quite enough here in the early goings, Dodgers and Cubs. Brewers and Giants, and then lastly, Rays and D-backs. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to do it for the episode here today. Thank you, everybody, so much. Like I said, going to be a busy week for me, but I'll see you guys as per usual, but a little bit shorter, a little bit quicker. Hopefully, though, I'll still be able to get into a lot of information. So yeah, thank you, buddy, so much, and I will see you on Friday.